Latest Manchester United transfer news. Apologies for being a little bit late, but there's so much going on. It's one of the worst shows I've ever had to do to prepare because there's loads. Chris Smalling deal off, Rojo off, Thiago off, Sancho still on, Reguilon very close, and a lot more to talk about as well, including Bale and other options. So lots and lots to talk about tonight on the United stand. And we're going to start off with Reguilon, but look, it's all over the place, absolutely all over the place. Frustrations are running high. I get that, and we'll go through it. I mean, no 8 o'clock show tonight because I've just been watching Chelsea, so it's a bit of a later show, but we'll still do a longer show. So fasten your seatbelts, get your questions ready, let's get on with it. But we'll start off with Reguilon. I'll just say about Chelsea, though, very, very quickly. Didn't play particularly well tonight, but still got the 3 points. But a prime example of why you need to get your players in early, because they're not just going to all gel together straight away. And again, this highlights Manchester United's ineptitude again. Any of our new signings, whether it's Reguilon, Thiago, Sancho, Bale, whoever it is, they're not at the club yet. So we've got to go through the process of bedding them in, even when they do come in, and they're probably not even going to be here for the Palace game. Absolute mess. Mess, yet again. Don't start me off. Anyway, Mark, we need a shirt with Woodward's face on it, saying, "What a prat," says Rupin. Let's start off with Reguilon because it is close. It is a close transfer deal. This is coming out from numerous sources. Fabrizio Romano said tonight that United expected to put a bid in. They won't put a bid in of 30 million. Personal terms are not a problem, and they don't want a buyback clause to be in there. Credible sources from Spain have then backed this up and said they expect the deal to go through. There is a problem with the buyback clause, but Manchester United are favourites to get this deal done, and the bid is expected to go in very, very soon. Even the next few hours has been mentioned. So fast movement on this Sergio Reguilon signing today, which is something positive for Manchester United. I think we've got to take any positive we can get at the moment. I'll be honest with you. I think I've got to get on board with this. I am on board with the signing, but I think I've got to get on with the board on board with it that it's going to happen quicker than I expected. What I would say is I don't actually understand why we're buying a left back before we're getting the right winger and the centre back in, because they're the priority positions that we actually need for the Palace game. Reguilon is very much welcome, or Tellez or whatever left back is very, very welcome, but it's not essential for the Crystal Palace game. The right winger and the centre back would have been. So I don't really know what United are doing here. Is this an indication that we need to paper the cracks, let's buy somebody and then that's it? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Manchester United at the moment, really. I think it's an absolute mess, as I said. But if everything's to be believed, and Romano's on this deal, so look, I think it is very, very close by the looks of it. Reguilon to Manchester United could well be done in the next sort of day or so. So yeah, get ready for that one. I would welcome him at the club. I think he's, very, very good. What I would say, my reservation on this is that I do feel that we've been sucked into this deal when he wasn't a priority, and that's never a bad thing if it's a player that you look at and you go, yeah, we're interested. I think Real Madrid have started a bit of a bidding war. I think United have expressed an interest. But if we buy him with a buyback clause, I'm sorry, that is a bad deal. So we better get this deal done without a buyback clause, because to me, buying a player on a buyback clause is just not what we're meant to be. And the one thing that gets me through with Manchester United is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has set his stall out and we followed it. He goes for players that are like Sergio Reguilon, who are good players who want to go and build a future at Manchester United. And that's why he's welcome. And that's why we got Bruno. That's why we got Wan-Bissaka. That's why we got Harry Maguire. That's why we're looking at Jadon Sancho. So I'm happy for a player to come to our club who wants to take a step up and be part of our future. I don't want a player who's coming to our club for a couple of years to go back to Real Madrid. So that buyback clause cannot be anywhere in that deal. Otherwise, it's a bad deal, and we're a hypocrite, because this is the reason we didn't buy Haaland. We didn't buy Haaland because there was some sort of buyback release clause in there. So let's not be hypocritical on this. Let's not start doing those stupid deals. And I don't think United will, to be fair. I think they'll get it done. So looking good on Reguilon coming in. And look, I'm a big fan of Luke Shaw. Some of you are, some of you aren't. I'm a big fan of Luke Shaw. And I know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a big fan of Luke Shaw. I am totally relaxed about Manchester United buying a left back, because the big thing for me is Brandon Williams will never play at left back again, and that is something to be very happy about. And I think Brandon Williams has got a future at United, but it's a right back. He's not a left back. We need two left backs. And we've got a real lack of left footers at Manchester United. So Get ready for this deal. It looks like it's going to happen. United will not accept a buyback clause. We want to protect our assets, says Sebastian Bodri. And thank you for the contribution from Suleiman Hassan. Really appreciate that. So that's the situation with that. Do you still think Sancho's going to come, says Adam Watson. So Reguilon looks like it's going to happen. Let's talk about Jadon Sancho then. Jadon Sancho played for Dortmund tonight. Again, people into a meltdown. Oh, that means he's not going to come. I mean, people have got short-term memories. I mean, Bruno was literally playing every week competitive games for Sporting Lisbon while we negotiated. So I don't think that makes any difference. Officially finished with the Sancho deal from today, says Darren Fitzgerald PT. And do you think that this is a sign that Ollie tries Luke Shaw as a left-sided centre-back, says Per Eric Klassen? Maybe. Might be something in that. And Chris Smalling is staying. What is wrong with this club, says Aduel Adelki. You're moving me through comments here. Hannibal and Mengi need a chance. Where is Jadon, says Melvin. Right, let me talk then. So we'll talk about Chris Smalling. It looks like that deal to Roma is off. I saw somebody tweeting just before I came live that Phil Jones and Smalling will still be at this club when I die. Not me literally, but it was somebody on Twitter. So it is moving. It is not looking good around that at the moment. But I've got to go through the topics in order. So let me talk to you about Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho played for Dortmund today. Don't really care. Manchester United are looking at other options. Manchester United are going to walk away. Manchester United refuse to pay for what Dortmund want. Dortmund are not going to sell Sancho. Dortmund's managers come out and said he's here for the season. None of this moves the story for me. It can move the story for you, and I respect that. I was talking to Flex a couple of hours ago, and he was like, the minute Dortmund started putting pictures out of Sancho, I thought it was over. I respect that. I respect that some of you don't think Sancho's coming now. I do. I stay in the 90% club. And the reason I do that is because I still don't see anything any different. Now, Fabrizio Romano has said about the Sancho deal, personal terms are done. The deal was very close at the end of July, and United have not gone in with a new bid. But Manchester Evening News said today, Manchester United remain hopeful that they can still do a deal. This is not resolved. It's unresolved, which means that talks continue, which means that hope continues. Whatever you want to do, the reality is this. Manchester United need to pay what Dortmund said they wanted right at the start of this. Sancho wants to come to United. Solskjaer desperately wants Sancho. And Dortmund want the fee that they said they wanted at the start. Where is this all going wrong? Well, hold on a minute. The player wants to come. The manager of Manchester United really wants him. And Dortmund will let him go for the price they've been talking about. The breakdown is Manchester United. And I don't believe they can walk away from this deal. If you believe they can, that's up to you. I don't think they can. I don't think they will. I must admit, I don't think he's going to be in the team for Palace. I said that this morning. The next 48 hours were crucial. And people are like, oh, I thought you said... I didn't say we're going to sign him in the next 48 hours. I said we need to sign him in the next 48 hours or get the deal moving. I think what we've seen is they've put the stuff out there that that's not going to happen. Now, whether it's going to happen next week or the week after that or the week after that, I still think it will. But what I would say is that it's not happening because of Manchester United. Now, if I read you this tweet out, if I can find it, from Fabrizio Romano in relation to Jadon Sancho. I mean, Dortmund are very firm that he will not be allowed to go unless Manchester United meet their fee. We know all about that. But I can't find the bloody tweet here. It's annoying. It was something along the lines of... where is it? It was something along the lines of, anyway, I know the gist of it. It was something along the lines of, from Fabrizio Romano, that Manchester United were very close to a deal at the end of July. They were very close to an agreement with Dortmund at the end of July. Now, remember around the start of August, there was this rumour, and I think it was The Guardian, but I don't want to misquote them, that they said that Ed Woodward went back and renegotiated the deal. That a deal had basically been agreed and Ed Woodward went back and renegotiated it. Well, something's happened. For Romano to say the deal was close at the end of July and then we're now in September and it's not close. Something's happened. And Dortmund have always been very consistent about what they wanted. So if it was close at the end of July, United were close to what Dortmund wanted. So maybe there was something in that story that United got close to a deal and then tried to renegotiate it, which is the sort of prattish behaviour that we would do. Sal Jones, Rojo, Smalling, Dalot, Pereira and Romero, says Sebastian Bodry. Easier said than done. Sancho is used to playing with an explosive fullback like Hakimi. How do you think he would adjust to playing with Aaron Wan-Bissaka? We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And hi Mark, before signing Bruno, we lost to Burnley. After the Burnley loss, we signed Bruno. It looks like after the loss to Palace, we will sign Sancho, says Villa. And Mark, it's good we aren't getting Sancho for the sake of Greenwood's development, says Reggie Thoughts. I think you're a troll, mate. Either that or you're an idiot, I'm afraid. That is one of the worst comments I've ever seen about not buying a right winger. Maybe if you learn the history of our football club, you understand that squads are very important. Anyway, we move on. Well, what I want to say as well, if we can't afford a £90 million bid with £18 million in add-ons, surely we can afford a £108 million bid with a 3-year instalment at £36 million a year, says Stephen Maccini. Too sensible there. But what I just want to say is I want to bring Gareth Bale in here, because what I have seen is, and it started off with some credible outlets. And Twisted says, Van der Sar gave us Van der Beek on a silver platter. Reguilon is unwanted and offered as a cut price. Don't have any faith in our scouting department. And David Alaba as a left-sided centre-back and left-back option. Opinion, says Vinit. Yeah, well, I think that ship has sailed, mate. We're not going to get David Alaba. It looks like we're going to get Reguilon as the left-footer. And what initial fee would Dortmund accept, leading to 108 million? So I don't know. I don't know. Hamza. But can I just say this then? So we're sort of moving away into this Gareth Bale world now, and a lot of people are talking about Gareth Bale. I'm gonna be absolutely honest on this. If we sign Gareth Bale, like when we bought Lukaku, like when we bought Matic, I strongly did not agree with those signings, but I will back the player 100%, because when you put a United shirt on, you've got to back the player. You've got to give him a chance in a United shirt. I think United signing Gareth Bale would be an absolute disaster. I really think, what have we learnt? What is the difference between Gareth Bale and Di Maria? You know, you're buying an expensive player who's not really interested in coming to Manchester United, just wants a move, who Real Madrid don't want anymore. And it's definitely not the player Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants. I don't care what anybody says. He does not fit the profile of what Solskjaer wants. Solskjaer does not want superstars coming towards the end of their career. Solskjaer wants hungry players who are younger, talented, and want to come to Manchester United and build a career. That is not Gareth Bale. This is a Glazer Woodward signing if we sign Gareth Bale. It's a Galactico signing that might sell a few shirts, that might appease the fans. And to be honest, it's working because some fans are very excited about it. But to me, this is no different to Di Maria. This is a Real Madrid player that they don't want, that we're going to solve a problem for them, that's going to come to our club on a lot of money. It could be Alexis Sanchez all over again. There's no future in it. It's very expensive and it's not the player we should be going for. I think it's a massive mistake, and I think we've learned absolutely nothing if we do the transfers that we've done over the last year and then we ruin it all by going for a player and doing a signing that we used to do 3 or 4 years ago that are the mistakes we're meant to be moving away from. And that would massively disappoint me if we were to do that, because that's not what we're meant to be doing. And the funniest thing of it all is we probably take Gareth Bale on loan for a year with an option to buy. He does okay, we buy him, and then Real Madrid buy Sancho next summer. So, you know, not only do we make a massive mistake, but we compound it by losing the player that we should have got. And as I said earlier, anybody who thinks that we're going to buy Sancho next summer, forget it. Don't think Bale. I heard somebody say this today, and I couldn't even reply. I was that fed up. They were like, get Gareth Bale in on loan for a year, right? And then send him back to Real Madrid and get Sancho. And you could see from the way they typed it, I don't know how they typed it, but you could tell they were probably really smugly happy with that plan. And I thought, hold on a minute. So we're going to not buy Sancho when he desperately wants to come to the club because we don't think he's worth it. And then a year's time, when a load of new clubs can afford him, we're going to think that he's going to come to us, the club that he wanted to come to a year ago, but we pulled out of it because we didn't think he was worth it. I'm sure he's going to be jumping at the chance to come to us next year when we're in the Europa League and we're saying, come to us now, we think we can afford you now. It'll be gone. It won't happen because better clubs will go in and treat him like the player he deserves to be. They won't mess about the price. They'll be like, we will pay that price because you are worth it and you will be a superstar at our football club. I think the way we've handled this deal is massively disrespectful to Jadon Sancho as well, because what nobody talks about is that United constantly in the press are adamant they will not pay £120 million for Jadon Sancho. We will not pay that price. And yet Chelsea are paying £100 million. Of course it's got add-ons on it for Havertz. But Manchester United have constantly put it out there that they will not pay that price for Jadon Sancho. Well, I'll tell you right now, he's worth that. That's his value. We paid £80 million for Harry Maguire last year. £80 million. Pounds, not euros, pounds. £80 million for Harry Maguire. £50 million for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Dortmund want £108 million for Sancho. It's £28 million more than we paid for Harry Maguire. And he's one of the best players in the world, and he's an attacker. But United are sat there going, well, we won't pay that. If I'm Sancho, I'm sat there thinking, hold on a minute. I understand they want to save a bit of money. I understand they want to barter. But what? They don't think I'm worth £108 million. Like, who is this club? Who's running it? You know, and Ollie's there on the phone saying, Jadon, don't worry. You know, I really like you. I really like you. It's just these prats who are running the club. They're bankers. They're wankers. Well, yeah, but I said bankers. You know, it's the thing that frustrates me the most is that they hide behind COVID-19 like it's a reason not to spend money when it isn't, because we're a club in debt who's with 90 million going to our owners over the last year when no other club pays their owners that sort of money. And then we're not valuing the value of Jadon Sancho. We need to sell players on the cheap, so fund at least 25% of the Sancho fee. Rojo, Smalling, Romero, Dalot, Pereira, Jones should get at least 40 to 45 million, says Connor Skinner. I mentioned Mengi in a previous video about taking a risk on him. So much potential. I would happily take a risk on him this season. Strong and quick, says Lee Taylor. And Gareth, what do you think of Federico Chiesa, right winger from Fiorentina, says Gareth. Look, I mean, you're talking to the wrong person here. I'm sure the live comments will get involved with you. But I will be... To me, it's Sancho or nothing. I wouldn't bother getting anybody else. I think the embarrassment of not getting this player to go and get somebody else who's not as good is just not worth it. I'd rather have no one. I know that's self-defeating, but I cannot even contemplate not getting Sancho and going for somebody else. It's just stupid. It's absolutely stupid. Barca wants Salah. I could see Liverpool get good money for him next season. Then Liverpool sign Sancho if we don't get him now, says Dazo W. And if Real Madrid are firm on the buyback clause, then he should leave him and go for Alex Telles from Porto. We are trying to build a team to compete for titles, says Carson Badley. I know. And you know what? They both fit into each other, actually. So worst case scenario, right? Worst case scenario, we could buy Reguilon for 25 million with a buyback clause and get Gareth Bale instead of Sancho. Tell me how this is any different from the stupid decisions we made under Van Gaal, Mourinho and Moyes. Bad signings. There's no future in that. That's not... I feel sorry for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Like, if we buy Reguilon with a buyback clause and Gareth Bale at 31, what future planning is that for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? It's stopgap. There's no future in that. So... it's going to be interesting. I still do think that we'll get Sancho because I still have maybe blind faith in the fact that this club cannot embarrass us anymore. I mean, look, Bellingham looked good for Dortmund tonight, didn't he? This Dortmund have just abused Manchester United, bantered it since Christmas. Took Haaland, took Bellingham, and now, you know, Sancho wants to come to us and still they're going to keep him, apparently. I don't think that's going to happen. Bale signing shouts retirement FC. Bale is more a talented Phil Jones at the moment. He wants to kick back and ponder his career at £600,000 a week, says Roloff. And if we sign Bale, I will throw up, says Rodri. Is it Rodri? Sebastian Bodri, sorry. And they will use COVID and the fact that they are losing money every day as an excuse, says Franklin. Well, don't let them. Don't let Manchester United Football Club, or the Glazers more specifically, let you be convinced by the COVID-19 argument. Because I tell you what, this club makes a lot of money. This club is paying £500,000 a week to 2 goalkeepers and it only needs 1. This club is paying £2 million a month to players like Juan Mata, Phil Jones, Marcus Rojo, Sergio Romero. This club gave Phil Jones a 5-year contract last year. It gave Pereira a big contract. This club gave £89 million to the owners over the last 5 years when Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal's owners took 0. You know, this club has been in debt for hundreds of millions of pounds for 15 years and paid hundreds of millions of pounds in loan repayment interests. So no, I'm not gonna sympathise with them because they can't get fans into the ground and milk a bit more money. Start running it like a bloody football club. What if the plan is to have Luke Shaw play as a centre back and Reguilon as a left back? Shaw has played as centre backs as a ditcher. Yeah, could happen. And looks like our search for a centre back is over now. And do you see Pogba staying after next season? God bless the United stand. Keep up the good work, Mark. Well, Ivan's right. If I'm Paul Pogba at the moment, I'm thinking, why would I sign a new contract with this football club? Where's the ambition? I think a couple of weeks ago, you would have said, yeah, you get Sancho in, you get Thiago in, you get Pogba on a new contract. But at the moment, he might just think, sod it, this is not a club that's going anywhere. So the Pogba new contract thing could become an issue, although the noise was that it wouldn't. Probably bet for Sancho's career to stay at Dortmund, says Twisted. Well, I just want to go back to a good point as well that somebody said about, and thanks for the contribution, Fabinaf, and Danielle says, Chelsea taking time to settle in with new signings. Even if we get Sancho and Reguilon and Thiago, we will take time and might lose points. I'm going to talk about Thiago in a minute, but there was a point around Sancho about selling players to, help the fee. At the moment, that is a very good point, and I don't think we've spoken about this. So if Jadon Sancho is £108 million, right, and Dortmund want £108 million, can I tell you the real tragedy about if this deal was to fall apart? Is the fact that if we had competent director of football, I'm taking this away from the Glazers here. If we had a competent director of football, we would have got rid of Smalling for 15 million. Now apparently that deal is off because United rejected it. So we won't be getting 15 million for Smalling because we've rejected the bid from Roma. So that's 15 million we would have had. We would have sold Delo, who is surplus to requirements, for probably another 15 to 20 million. That's 30 million. 30 million straight away. 30 million off 108 makes that deal 78 million. Suddenly, Sancho's cost you 78 million instead of 108. This is where we failed massively. We have not offloaded Deadwood. So therefore, we may well have put ourselves in a situation where the transfer budget is not stretching where it needs to go because of the incompetence of not having a director of football. And we could have easily raised 30, 40, maybe even 50 million. And we've not done it. We've offloaded a bit in wages for Sanchez. I agree that. But we have not raised any money. And this is saddening on two levels. One, we've still got crap Deadwood at the club. But two, we haven't raised any funds to supplement the transfers. And it's just saddening. It really is. Great signing, Reguilon. Important player rotation. Madrid lose interest if buyback clause. Most likely try and get the next Roberto Carlos or Davis, says Pete Squire. And welcome to the members club, Tyler Starkey. And Chris Burton says, hi Mark, this is what I would do. 100 million Sancho, 20 million Tellez, 30 million Thiago, all done and dusted. And yeah, thanks for becoming a member, Tyler Starkey. You can do that by clicking the join button. You get a little badge next to your name. Remember, all our content is free on the United Stand. Lots of it going on at the moment, so thanks for the support. Jordan Such says, hi Mark, in terms of points, last season we finished closer to Bournemouth, who got relegated, than we did Liverpool. If that isn't enough reason to change our ways, I don't know what is. Well, you know what as well, Jordan? We're also in this very dangerous situation that many of you have mentioned, and I must mention myself, that if we do not, I've lost my train of thought. I've lost my train of thought. How can you lose your train of thought on a live video? What did Jordan say? And it might come back to me. Oh, that's really disappointing. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, whoever we sign at right winger is going to be compared with Sancho, says Weber. Yeah, it'll be a thankless task. And reports of Roma backing out of the Smalling deal, says Mr. D7. But let me talk to you about Thiago then. So Thiago, I haven't lost my train of thought on that. ESPN earlier on were saying that with regards to Thiago, Manchester United were very interested in signing Thiago, but they can afford to buy him, but they can't afford his wages of £200,000 a week, or they don't want to pay his wages of £200,000 a week. So if he doesn't lower his wage demands, then they won't sign him. Now, I don't know why Manchester United would find £200,000 a week wages for Thiago so obstructive when they have just signed off a deal to make Dean Henderson one of the top paid goalkeepers in the world, well, probably in the world, on 130 grand a week. And yet we're paying De Gea 350 grand a week. We're paying £500,000 a week on 2 goalkeepers, but we don't want to give 200k a week to Thiago. So that just seems a little bit off to me. But Manchester Evening News have said that Manchester United are not in for Thiago, and that the belief is that Bayern Munich are continually using the Manchester United name to generate interest from Liverpool to get the deal done. But we're not in for Thiago, according to them. I mean, I always feel that I always felt that Liverpool were favourites to get to Thiago, which would be a very good signing for them as well, won't it? So we're going to have to wait and see. I mean, look, of course, Gareth Bale probably wants to come to Manchester United. I wouldn't doubt that at all. But I don't. I think all in all, I was talking to Drawty early on. I think all in all, it's been a really disappointing day as a Manchester United fan. It's Monday. It's the first Monday of the week before we play our first game of football. And I expected there to be some developments around players. Specifically, I expected there to be something around Jadon Sancho, to be honest with you. And I think that the ambition that this football club is showing has been, really, really disappointing. And I don't want to go over old ground. I was very disappointed when I did the video at 4 o'clock today. The club is a mess. It's an absolute mess. And it's a mess from top to bottom. You've got owners who just totally disrespect what the club's all about. You've got people who do negotiations who I wouldn't let them negotiate getting my cat washed. I don't even got. Do you even get a cat washed? I just wouldn't let them negotiate opening a packet of crisps. To be honest with you, we needed a director of football for years. The incompetence that runs above the manager to the very top of with the owners is it's just soul destroying. And I mean, and to be honest with you, I really like the Reguilon deal, but I don't get why we're doing it now. Why could we not do that deal in a couple of weeks and do the priority deals? And I know some people will say, oh, you're being a bit negative on Reguilon because you like Luke Shaw. It's nothing to do with that. I really do think that we do need a left back, and whether it's Telles or Reguilon, I'm quite happy for Luke Shaw to fight it out with one of those two players. May the best man win. You need two good players in each position, so I've got no problem with that at all. But my real issue here is the timing of everything. We haven't got enough players out, and why have the priority signings not been brought in for the first game of the season? I mean, look, Brighton were good today. They'll be a good team to play. We've got to play Brighton after Crystal Palace. I mean, anybody who thinks we're taking 9 points from our first 3 games, I'll have a drink of what you're having, because that's some Dutch courage, that is. That's not nailed on. And we haven't rectified the areas of concern going into a new season. Chris Larson and Kay Burke, latest members of the United Stand Members Club, thank you very much. Craig Calamari says, will the January transfer window still take place, or has it been pushed back because of COVID? Buy Sancho now and look for centre-back and striker in January. I think the January transfer window will still be there. And I will be broken man if we sign a golf-playing bench warmer, Gareth Bale, says Jude Patrick. If we sign Bale, it is our responsibility as what I believe to be the best fan base in the world to back Bale and support Bale. But I will not be quiet in saying I think it is an absolute joke, and I think that we are run by Woodward and the board and not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because I absolutely, categorically do not believe that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants Gareth Bale. I think he'll take Gareth Bale over nothing. We all would. But there is no way that Gareth Bale was anywhere near on a list of priorities for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I don't think he would have even been on a list of backups. I think this is, again, a player that's come up and United have gone, oh, let's do that, if it's true. In pursuit of getting another penny, these bankers have now lost millions in transfer fees and wages for Smalling, and they're supposed to be money men, says Dharma. Oh, the brilliance of the Chris Smalling thing is that if it's true that a deal to Roma has collapsed because United refused to take 15 million and they wanted more, we'll now end up with nothing and another player on 80 grand a week who's at this club and shouldn't be here. That's the brilliance of this deal. You know, we could have took some money and got rid of him and got rid of the wage and put a bit of money into the transfer pot. And now we've messed about on it so long thinking that Roma will cave. Roma are going to get another player and United are stuck with Chris Smalling. It's brilliance. It's absolute brilliance in crap stupidity and negotiating again, if that is true. I mean, one positive I can say is that Fabrizio Romano said Rojo will go. He's being offered up all over Italy and in other places, so he will go. But we won't get much for Rojo. I mean, it'd be great to get rid of his wages, but we won't get much. I applaud your patience level. I would have lost it by now, says Saurabh Chowdhury. Mate, I'm fuming. I am fuming. I'm not happy. I'm really not happy. And I don't know why I don't feel happy when we could be on the verge of signing a left back who I rate. But my frustration with that is I can sort of see through what's happening. I think this Reguilon deal has been escalated because United know they've effed up the Sancho deal and they want to try and give us a bit of positivity. And look, it is positive, but to me, there's a bigger picture here. Did we really desperately need a left back this week? No. We don't desperately need a left back for the Crystal Palace game. Can he play on the right wing? No, we don't need a left back for the game against Crystal Palace because a left back against Crystal Palace isn't going to win us the game. We needed the right winger. That is the priority signing of the manager. The number one priority signing for Manchester United's manager this year. Come on down. It's Jadon Sancho. It's a right winger. And what are we going to do in the week before a Crystal Palace game? We're going to buy a left back. Forget the right winger. We're going to buy a left back. Everybody celebrate. And look, I am happy if we buy Reguilon. But it just highlights again the incompetence of the people negotiating our deals. That we're buying a player that is needed, but is not the priority. And it pisses me off. Mark, do you speak with your guy? Please do get us inside info. Says Mihir. Look, I've always been honest about that. When I speak to them, I'll tell you. But I haven't actually spoken to them in a while. So maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. Hi, Mark. The Glazers are tight arses and won't spend money on players, but hemorrhage cash on wages doesn't make sense, says Nathan Medhurst. And there was reports suggesting the money for Bruno was from our budget this year, says Twisted8725. I've heard that. I have heard that. But the fact remains that if Bruno was part of the transfer budget for this summer, then surely all the more reason to sorry, I've received a message. I thought it was something to do with football. All the more reason to sell players. All the more reason to sell players. Because, you know, you can't just say we haven't got any money. Jadon Sancho has put a tweet, an Instagram post out 3 minutes ago saying, good way to celebrate 100 games in yellow and black. Honoured and grateful. Thank you for all your messages. Come to Man United, yeah. I don't think that, again, if he'd said I'm looking forward to the here's to another year of winning things, I'd have been a little bit worried, but I'm not going to be too worried about that. Please smash a like on the video if you're watching. Bit odd to be doing a late night show, but we didn't do an 8 o'clock show. There was reports suggesting the money for Bruno was from our budget this year. That was from Twisted. Yeah, so that's what we were talking about. What I was going to say about that is that I could easily raise 50, 60, 70 million for Man United if I was the director of football. If I was director of football, right, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said to me back in April in lockdown when everyone look, and this is the thing that winds me up as well. Lockdown was horrible for everybody. What was Ed Woodward, Matt Judge and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Mick Phelan and everybody doing in lockdown? Surely, with 3 months where you can't go anywhere but you can do Zoom calls, they sat there and strategically went through what the plan was for this transfer window. Well, whoop-de-doo. What a bloody mess. You had 3 months of lockdown to do your Zoom calls and strategically plan your transfers in and outs. And here we are, 7 weeks into the transfer window with only 3 weeks left, and you've done next to nothing. What a waste of 3 months under lockdown that was then. Because if I'm director of football, right, and I'm sat with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on lockdown doing massive Zoom calls, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says to me, I want Sancho, I want a centre-back, I want Van der Beek, and I want a left-back if you can get me one, right? So I say, okay, Ollie, I haven't got quite enough money to do that. You're going to have to sell players. What players do you want to get rid of? And he gives me a list of players, and I say, right, I need to raise about 70 million quid here to help you out, to help you get these deals that you want. If you want Sancho and you want a centre-back and you want Van der Beek, I need to raise at least 70 million to go with the budget that we've got of about 100. So I need 170 million to do all those 3 deals. So I've got to raise 70 million. I can raise 70 million by selling Chris Smalling for 15, selling Dalot for 20, so gets me about 35. I'll get rid of Rojo, so that gets me 40 million. So I've sold 3 million, I've got 40 million there. Right, now is where it starts to get a bit difficult. Look, if the stars align and I get really lucky, I might get a bag of crisps for Phil Jones, but I'm going to be very lucky, so forget Phil Jones. But I can get about 20 for Lingard and probably about 15 for Pereira. Are you happy to let them go if I can get you Van der Beek and Sancho? Yes. I've raised 75 million. And that's what a director of football should have been doing, and that's what we haven't been doing. I tie myself up in knots of frustration because I hadn't really thought of that before. We had 3 months of lockdown where all this should have been sorted out. And maybe in fairness to Ollie, it was sorted out, and then we've messed up on negotiations again. Because to repeat, we've only got rid of Alexis Sanchez. We've not got rid of anybody who's worth any transfer fee. So there is nothing in the pot from selling any players, and yet I could have raised 70 million easily. Easily. Definitely 50. I reckon I could have got 75. And not through overselling players. Look, I'm saying Lingard's 20. Personally, I think you could get 30. I'm saying Pereira's 15. I think you could get 20. You know, I'm saying Dalot's 20. I think you could get 25. So there's more money that could have been made, but we've just messed up at every single juncture on this. It's sad. It's very, very sad. But what I would say is, if United sign Jadon Sancho, which can still happen, and I still think will happen, then everybody's mood changes. But realistically, it probably shouldn't change that much. As great a signing as it would be, we should still be looking back on what has been another shit transfer window, organisational-wise. You know, you can still win a race, but it doesn't mean you've ran a good race. You might win the race because everybody else has fallen over. You know, and I think United can still win this transfer race by getting Sancho, but it's not been a good race again, and lessons are still not being learned on how to negotiate and how to run a transfer window. And they should be looking at teams like Chelsea who've done it perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. Lingard for the same price as James Rodriguez, says Harry Gizzle. And imagine the reaction if Sancho doesn't come, says Disaster Piece 6. Mate, I will lose it if we don't sign Sancho. And the only reason I'm going to say that is because I know for a fact he wants to come. I know for a fact that he's Solskjaer's priority. We know that we've agreed personal terms, and we know that Dortmund set the price a long time ago. So you tell me how that deal doesn't happen. Well, because of the owners. Also, now we are in the Champions League. We need to clear Mata and Lingard out. Ollie didn't use them hardly in the Europa, so he obviously doesn't think they're Champions League quality. It's mad we're keeping players who Ollie never brings on as subs. I cannot stand the fact that Juan Mata, Jesse Lingard, Andreas Pereira are going to be part of this club next season when they absolutely will not be. 2 of them will not be used. I mean, all 3 of them might not be used, but 2 of them will not be used. They shouldn't be here. Get rid of them. You know, you can't moan about not signing Sancho and then think it's a good idea to keep those 3. You know, 2 of them have got to go. I think Woodward knows he's going to cough up the cash for Sancho eventually, hence why we are doing other deals. They don't care about pre-season, says Jock Holloway. Can you organise a protest outside Old Trafford before the first game like the West Ham fans did, says Pratiush. Not with social distancing, I can't. And Roma just signed Kumbala on loan as per Romano. Smalling going out of club is falling apart. Exactly, Vijay, exactly. We've messed that one up as well, unfortunately. Sancho is only coming if United pay the fee. Dortmund took a chance on him and gave him the platform to play and develop, so he's not going to come out and say he wants to leave, as he has respect, says Tom Hadders 95. Pay the deal. Pay the price. Get the deal done. It's not overpriced. It's not overpriced. It's the right price to play, so you pay it. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. I've enjoyed that. A good 45 minutes or 40 minutes late night show. Please subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. We're literally back again in 11 hours with the 10 o'clock show. So I will see you there. Let's see what happens in the early hours and tomorrow morning. But hopefully tomorrow is a better day. We may get Reguilon done. We're waiting on that. That's probably looking like the most likely deal at the moment, as it has gone very, very quiet again on Sancho. I still think it will happen. I just don't think it's going to happen for the Palace game now. I said the next 48 hours would be key. We're down to 24 hours now. Unless they're going to do something with Sancho tomorrow, he's not going to be holding a shirt up by the end of the week to be playing on Saturday. So it rolls on. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you all soon.